Hello everyone and welcome to a moderate gear setup guide for a Bandos solo. To start off a good Bandos solo, you're going to need good gear. This gear is pretty effective and pretty cheap for what it does. You have two chaotics in this setup. You have the chaotic kite shield and the CLS. Both have pretty good bonuses. The CLS is a good slash weapon, which Bandos is most weak to. You also have the Verheric's Helm prayer bonus and the Solar's Cape for the prayer bonus. Not to mention the Dragon Boots for the strength bonus, and the Tassets for the strength bonus. You also have your Zamrak and Bandos item, and don't forget your Aor, gloves, and your ring. A Bandos inventory should reflect of what you wear. We're wearing a moderate gear setup, so we have a moderately set up inventory. We have Dragon Claws as a special weapon, which is a good slash special weapon because you can hit 500 and 400 XPs on Bandos, which can speed up the kills by a lot. We have two special recoveries, just in case someone decides to crash. We have that extra Aora after the first one runs out. Your Aoras can vary depending on which ones you have and depending how long they last. We have 6 overloads, which will last about 2 hours. We have 7 brews in the inventory, and we have 5 super restores. Remember, don't bring too many super restores because you do get them as drops sometimes, so you don't want to overload on super restores. And we have a two yak pouches and yak scrolls, and we have a unicorn pouch with healing Aora scrolls just after the yak dies. And we have a quick teleport just in case things get a little unsafe. This is the inventory setup for the yak. It could vary depending on which familiar you use and which combinations you use of familiars. This, for instance, is the yak. The yak is good because it holds 30 items. I mean, that's more than your inventory holds. So if you have a yak, that could easily double or triple your kills if you're just going off of your regular inventory. Familiars are highly, highly recommended. Even if it's the lowest familiar, I recommend taking it, just because every little bit helps. If you notice there's a lot more brews than super restores, that's because super restores are drops, and depending on the Aoras you're using, you probably will use less super stores, and the prayer bonus that you have equals to less super restores. These are 3 stats that could easily boost your kills per hour insanely. One being the Pack Yak. I mean, it holds 30 items. Who wouldn't want that? That helps a ton when you're soloing Bandos. Another is 95 Prayer. Turmoil. Once you have Turmoil, you have Soul Split. Soul Split and Turmoil wreck together. It's a good combo. It's really expensive to get, but it's really good to have at the end. Herbaler, 96, Overloads. Overloads are like extremes, but they stay at the max stats for 5 minutes. And you can brew up, and you can trigger Super Restore, and your stats go back up to where they were. Unfortunately, there is 2 requirements to Bandos. One is being you have to have a hammer. What is nice, since they updated it, you can use the hammer in your tool belt, so you don't have to use an inventory space anymore, which is really nice. The second requirement is 70 strength. It's not very high. I recommend having a higher strength, but this is just the minimum. Although Bandos doesn't have very many requirements, here's a few recommendations that could speed up your kills. 90 plus melee makes you hit a lot more often, which equals to faster kills, which equals to more kills per hour, which could be better loots in your turn. Also 70 prayer. This doesn't mean you have to go out and get Turmoil and Soul Split. Piety works just as good, which means you don't have to do all the quests for curses. And you're probably thinking, why 70 mage? Magic, his special attack is range and magic based. 60% of your magic defense is based on your level, so I recommend having a higher magic level, which equals to higher defense and magic. Once you're geared up and ready to go to Bandos, it's time to teleport there. You can't directly teleport to God War's dungeon, but you can get pretty close. You can teleport to the top of Trollheim Mountain. From there, you run down either to the right or the left agility. Both are roughly about the same time. One might be a little bit faster than the other, but they're both equally about the same. So you run at the arc angle right there. You gotta watch out because there's a couple trolls that will throw boulders at you, so just pray range if you're under 137 combat. And you run at the boulder, and you can either lift it or squeeze past. It's 60 agility to squeeze past, and 60 strength to lift it up. I suggest squeezing past. It makes it a lot faster. And once you're past the boulder, you put Pro Melee on and you run towards the God War's entrance. Um, put Pro Melee on because there is wolves and they can hit on you pretty hard sometimes. So make sure you have that up. Once you get inside God Wars, you can't just head off and straight go to Bandos. You have to get a 40 kill count of the Bandos race before you can go in and start fighting Bandos himself. There's a lot of places that you can get kill count. Uh, the top blue hobgoblins I would only reserve if you don't have a Zamorak item or a Bandos item. This is because you can actually see inside the chamber from there, and if you find an open world, you can run down and run through the infested Bandos area, where you may get some hits against you, and you can run in the chamber. I suggest using the yellow, orange, and green hobgoblins and goblin spots. I suggest starting off with hobgoblins, then moving to goblins, and then hobgoblins and goblins, and keep rotating around, and you should have the kill count in about 6 to 7 minutes, depending how fast you kill them, and depending how fast they spawn back. Once you've climbed down the rope and ran past all the wolves and everything, you are now inside the kill count for the God Wars chamber. There's 4 types of God Wars. There's actually 5 if you include Nex. Um, there's Nex, Zamorak, Saradomin, Armadiel, and Bandos, which we're going to be doing today. Bandos is a really easy kill count because the creatures of the Bandos race are so low level. Um, all there is hobgoblins, goblins, orgs, and orcs. Um, they all have pretty low HP. They're all really low level, so you can kill them really fast. But what's nice about kill count is all you have to do is hit them once and then run away, and the other race creatures will kill them off, and you'll still get the kill count for it. So you could one hit like something high level and then run off, and then they'll kill it, and you'll get the kill count for it. There's many different spots for Bandos kill count. You can go up a little bit north, you can go a little bit south, you can go back to hobgoblins. But if you rotate through these spots, you'll get kill count extremely fast. I wouldn't recommend going to this spot right here just because there's only 3 goblins and then there's 2 orgs. There's not really much. This would be like a last resort spot if everything else was taken. Once you've gotten 40 kill count of the Bandos race, you can go through the little mini door right here. You need to have a hammer, which you can use the one in your toolkit, which is extremely nice since they made that update, so you don't have to waste an inventory spot with a useless hammer every single time, which helps. Once you go in, you run up to the big door, but I would suggest hopping around for worlds. Crashing, it's not really respectable, so you kind of gotta just hop around and look for a world. But once you find a world, drink an overload, get your AR going, get Soul Split and Turmoil if you have it. If you don't have it, drink a couple doses of Cerebrew and wait for your stats to reboost. I wouldn't recommend drinking a Super Restore. They'll just go up on their own. I recommend not killing what I killed, the range. I suggest killing something a little bit lower defense, like the Org or the Cyclops. Those are usually the best healers. The Bloodfeld I would not attack. One, it's a Zamorak creature, so it's not really helping you out there. But yeah, once you have 40, you can go through that door. So after I heal up on this one, I'll go in, and I'll start off with the kill. If you've noticed, I have changed my inventory a little bit. Yeah, don't forget to say your quick prayers. I have changed my inventory a little bit. I brought Dread Nips along. I would use them if you have them. They're really useful here. They go up for 30 seconds. They either stun them or they do damage. They poison some bosses. Unfortunately, they do not poison Bandos. They're extremely, extremely useful though. You can get them in Dominion Tower. It takes like 450 boss kills, which takes a little bit of time, but it's worth it. Unfortunately, like you saw, someone half killed this boss. And I have also changed my ring. So right there, I just got battle staffs. That drop right there paid for my trip and more. So everything from now on is basically pure profit. The first minion I would kill is the mage right off the bat, just because you have the least amount of mage defense. Everything else you can just throw a Soul Split on and just basically tank them out because they're not very accurate. Um, but they can hit 260 sometimes. That's their max hit. So don't underestimate the minions. They do hit quite often. But what's nice about the minions is they do drop food drops. They drop chili potatoes and they drop sharks. So that could make your trip last a whole lot longer. Um, there is an altar. You can also right click and teleport to it. You teleport outside. I suggest only using the altar when your prayer point's low because you can only use it once every 10 minutes. So, I mean, you don't want to just keep wasting it and only getting like 10 points back. I would only teleport out there if you have a Bandos item because you teleport in the second chamber of Bandos. So if you're not wearing a Bandos item, you'll just get like mauled and then you'll most likely panic even more. Special weapon if you have it. Claws, they fail sometimes, but uh, if you hit, it's really good for the kills. Once you spec, put your shield back on because the shield is basically the best defensive thing in this setup. Pull out the bunyip, I mean not bunyip, dreadnip, and basically start killing. What's nice about the CLS is you can actually get some big hits in, even though you don't have that good of attack bonuses, you can still hit pretty decent with it. If I was using the rapier in this setup, I would take the D Defender. The only bad thing about the D Defender is that it has like no defensive bonuses, which really sucks. But if you're getting crashed, it helps a ton with keeping your world and fighting off the people that are trying to take it. And remember to keep your HP high. You don't want it to drop down too low. I suggest the safe zone being around 600 if you have the max amount of life points. If you're a little bit lower, I suggest keeping it a little bit higher. Um, if you drink more than 2 doses of brew, drink Super Restore to get your stats boosted back up real fast, and then you can start hitting again. Sometimes he does range spam you like crazy, like right here. He hit me like 3 or 4 times in a row with range. If you can, just try and tank him out and keep your HP high. But once the boss is dead, you can just right go on the minions. You can Soul Split Flash. Unfortunately, I'm terrible at Soul Split Flashing. Um, some people are really good, like Wook16 and some other people like that. And but once you kill a mage, just leave Soul Split on for the second 2 minions. Like I said earlier, they're not very accurate with their hits, so they won't hit you all that often. You might get an unlucky like 110 or so, but they probably won't drop you unless you have no food and your HP is extremely low. Um, just remember not to bring too many super restores because super restores could kill you because you could load them into your yak and they go above and you take Bob and you just get a bunch of restores. And also remember to even your brews and restores out so that you don't get trapped with a bunch of brews and no restores in your inventory. Either way it could be bad, so even it out a little bit. Um, I say pick up every drop pretty much. Everything's profit. So you might as well just take as much home as you can. I mean, pick up the cosmics, pick up the natures, pick everything up. And I think that's going to wrap it up, guys. Thanks for watching. I really hope this helps everyone who wants to solo Bandos.